St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 1041 FM, KMOX.
The bases are loaded. The 3-2 pitch with one out, a swing, and a high fly ball left field. And that is over Nootbaar's head, and Nootbaar can't catch it. The ball hits the track. Here comes Canario. The Pirates win 2-1. A single and an RBI. Roycroft is the loser, Lawrence the winner, and the Pirates take 2 out of 3. They won today in 13, 2-1.
Hey, that was painful. Pain. Without a doubt, as the Cardinals lost that one yesterday in 13 innings, it's a well-deserved day off for them. They have been going through rain delays and extra innings and painful losses. It's time to, should I use the word, reset? It's a bad word around here. Look, Bernie Miklas is going to join us here momentarily. We're going to get his audio fixed up. Matt Pajeski, our producer. I'm Tom Ackerman. This is the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. And I got news for you. The world is not coming to an end. The baseball season is not over either. There's baseball to be played, but so far, the Cardinals have not been able to put it together. Now, I have said this over and over again. My expectations are low when it comes to winning the division for this team, going on to win the World Series. I don't know what your expectations are for this team, but mine are that they are going to improve every single player. That's what I'm going to be looking for. What is the improvement? What is the development? What does this team look like in 2026? And are they better? It's the youngest lineup in Major League Baseball. There are no excuses. This is Major League Baseball. You got to go play well. But for me to sit here every single day and say, well, they're 1.5 out, they're a game and a half out of first, it would be misleading and disingenuous. The team, we should not be talking about if the team is in the race until they show consistent improvement across the board among all positions, pitching and hitting. Now, we saw the hitting for the first 10 games of the year. They missed a Major League record by 1 hit. They could have tied the Major League record for 10 or more hits in 10 straight games to start the season. Yesterday, that offense was not there, and the Cardinals were unable to score, and that is, to me, the biggest reason why they lost the game. We'll talk to Bernie Miklas about it in just a bit, but let me lay this out here for you. I'm getting all kinds of stuff, and I probably shouldn't do this. I should not judge how Cardinals fans think about the team based on comments on X. But if you do that in real time during the game, you would have thought that the world was coming to an end because they didn't take Eric Fetty out of the game when he had a no-hitter going. You would have thought that the world was coming to an end because Ryan Helsley didn't come back for another inning. You would have thought that the Cardinals lost the game all because, and this could be partly true, that Pop Warner sent Michael Ciani on a play that he wasn't going to score on, even if, well, this is exaggerating, even if I was playing left field. Tommy Pham's a heck of a player, and he easily threw out Michael Ciani. Or you could have said that Thomas Sajaci and that base running issue at home plate. The real reason, folks, why they lost the game is because they couldn't hit and couldn't score more than a freaking run in 13 innings against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That's why they lost the game. So let's all kind of get a hold of everything here and sort this out. Eric Fetty walked 4 leadoff men in this game. In fact, in his 6 innings, Fetty had the leadoff man reach 5 out of the 6 innings. And one of those innings, he lined out. So just look through this for a minute. If you're looking at him and say, how could they possibly take him out during a no-hitter? I'm wondering, did you get an alert on your phone and see that he was throwing a no-hitter and then you wanted to keep him in there? Or did you watch him walk 4 leadoff men in this game? I'm not sure I was ready for another one. Now, Fetty maybe goes another inning. I'll give you that. That's what, a 12, what was he averaging? 13 pitches an inning. So now he's at 101 pitches. That's fine. Then what? I mean, he's not going to throw a no-hitter, folks. They're not going to keep him in there over 100 pitches. He's not going 9 innings. This isn't Bob Gibson. I mean, we're not doing that in this stage of the game. Fetty walked, again, 4 leadoff hitters. Do you know how much playing with fire that is? I'm not defending Ollie Marvel. I'm just using baseball sense here. So it's just, we've gotten to the point where we're so angry at this team. And I'm frustrated too. I wanted to win that game as much as you did. Trust me. And I'm frustrated with the team. But for me to sit there and look at this thing and say they lost because the Cardinals should have kept Eric Fetty in the game. Are you kidding me? They didn't hit. I don't understand. Now, they didn't hit. Now, in the previous games, guess what? They hit and they didn't pitch. The pitching was horrendous. Fetty's part of the problem. On Friday at Fenway Park, he gave up 5 runs early. Miles Miklasz threw batting practice. And in my estimation, took 1 step out of the rotation. Doesn't sound like they're going to do that. We talked to Ollie Marmol about it on the Gashouse Gang just the other day. He told me, asked me what I would do. I said I would have Matz go in there and switch him. Have Miklasz as your long man. Or I'd just go to Memphis and get Michael McGreevy. Problem solved. And he explained, and I thought in a rational way, that we have depth that we need in this rotation, and therefore we can't just start dipping into Memphis. We're going to burn these guys out. I don't think Michael should be in the rotation, so I'm looking for any solution possible. So therefore I would go with the Mats in the rotation solution. But they lost because the starting pitching wasn't able to give them enough innings. Starting pitching wasn't good enough. This time around, that was not the case. The offense was not there. All right. So that's where we are with this club right now. Inconsistency. The pitching hasn't been there, and the Cardinals end up losing this game to the Pirates. Now, look, they're going to be up against it here. I mean, they have to be able to show me that they're better than the Pittsburgh Pirates, which they lost 2 out of 3. They got swept by the Red Sox. I just can't sit here and say that this team is a good baseball team. I'm telling you that this team has to show me throughout the year that we're going to see improvements with the players. If they start taking steps backwards, the players that we get to see every day, then I got a major problem. But I look at him, is Lars Nootbaar better than he was last year? I think my answer is yes, although he went 0 for 5 yesterday. Is Contreras better than he was last year? That answer is no so far. Bernie, I'm going to bring you in just a minute. Donovan's better. Arenado, better. Burleson, about the same. Walker, better. And better in the outfield, too. Pajes is better. Scott is better. So JC, the jury's still out, although he hit an absolute bomb onto the turnpike in garbage time at Fenway. Mason Wynn, not better. Not yet, at least. And then we could go down the pitching. But let's just hold off for a second. Let's not get our expectations so hyped up that we think this team suddenly was going to be, didn't we know? They didn't make any moves in the offseason. So what did that tell you? They're basically the same team as last year, trying to play younger players and improve and get this thing set up for Chaim Bloom to be great. Are we okay with Bernie? I hear him. Bernie, you there?
Yeah. What's going on, Tom?
What's going on, man? We're doing it technically. We're gonna join you on the phone line, but we get to see you on video. So Bernie, while you were trying to get everything technically put together, I know you heard some of the things that I said. I had to get it off my chest. The Cardinals didn't lose because Eric Fetty was pulled during a no-hitter. I mean, the guy, he walked 4 leadoff hitters. It's very simple. This isn't about one move here or there. They did not hit against the Pirates in a 13-inning loss.
I tell you what, man, in my many years of, just kind of monitoring stuff on X and social media criticism, the Fetty thing might have been the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So, it really is like, okay, you have a team that scored 1 run in 13 innings. You had a team that lost 3 runners on the bases through kind of 2 of them were bonehead things. You had a team that was 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position, right? So why are people losing their minds over the fact that Eric Fetty pitched 6 innings instead of 7? Like what did people watch the game?
I don't know.
Do they watch the game?
I'm not sure. And I do think, and let me ask you, this is a broad question, but you are as good as analyzing baseball, but also the fans of this team. Have they gotten to the point where they're so angry at John Mozeliak and Ollie Marmol that it just doesn't matter? One move, this move here, they've sort of lost the perspective of how a baseball game is played and the strategy of it. Not all fans, but I'm talking about some vocal ones that have kind of flown off the handle here a little bit. And I see them and I hear them because they're people that I used to actually watch, fans I'm talking about on social media, that made a lot of sense.
Well, it's frustrating with me because, I have other fans tell me, and I'm sure you've heard it too. It's like, don't paint us all with the same brush. I mean, most Cardinals fans are smart and they're reasonable, right? They want their team to win, but they're not going to be, just go off on some lunatic fringe rant every time they lose a game. But to your point, and it's true, there is so much baked in disdain for Mozeliak, and then Ollie Marmol by extension, because he's viewed as Mo's guy and all that. There's a segment of the fan base that just simply is incapable of, analyzing or just critiquing him with any kind of activity whatsoever. It's like whatever he does is wrong. Whatever he does, fire him. I texted you this morning to make a joke, and I said, I called Ollie this morning and I said, what are you having for breakfast? And he told me what he's having for breakfast. I said, that's wrong. It's a wrong decision. You screwed up. You should be fired. And listen, man, the other thing about this is, like, if people actually pay attention to all my work or during the Marmol era, I've jumped on him a lot of times. I mean, a lot of times. I don't hesitate. If I think something was a screw up, I'll say it was a screw up. But to go bananas over the fact, Eric Fetty, who was on a 90 pitch limit, and what you said earlier, 5 of the 6 first batters he faced in an inning got on, 5 out of the 6. And as Dave Duncan told me many, many times, it isn't just the number of pitches, it's the exertion that went into the pitches. And Dunk would say, if you put the leadoff man on, or if you walk a bunch of guys, you have to work extra hard to get out of those messes that have been created. So Fetty was pretty much spent. I don't care that he didn't give up a hit through 6 innings, because that's not what you measure him by. And by the way, anybody that thought there was even a 1% chance that he would stay in that game through 9 innings is simply cuckoo. There was 0 chance of that happening. This whole thing about a no-hitter. So Fetty came out of the game at the right time. And what I said on my video last night, and I'll just throw it by you now, I think I said this to Matt Pauley. So for the people going nuts over the fact that Fetty didn't go an extra inning, so what they're basically saying is that Ollie Marmol, instead of setting up his bullpen for what would be a reasonable game, where he has his bullpen lined up if it goes 9 innings and they have a lead, or even if they got to go 10 or 11 innings in extra innings, right? So for the people saying, well, he should have, if he would have, used Fetty for 1 more inning, that meant he would have had 1 more good reliever available in extra innings. So in other words, I would love to know the name of a manager in the history of baseball, Major League Baseball, that would have sat there at the end of the 6th inning and said, well, I totally believe, I guarantee you this game's going to go 13 innings. So I have to plan for that. Right?
Yeah.
Like, what manager sits there in the 6th inning and he's thinking, well, 7 innings from now, I might need that extra reliever. I mean, are these people that jump on this kind of thing, are they even trying to use their God-given brain? I have no idea.
Well,
and the Helsley thing, you can make a case he could have came back for another inning because he only pitched 10. But you also got to remember he threw 37 innings on Sunday, and even though he had a couple days off, I get it. There was a reason why he was on a limit yesterday. See, Ollie Marmol can't disclose everything. There was a reason why it was going to be a one and done appearance for him yesterday. It was the wrong day to maybe maybe push it with him. And again, people have short memories. Do we remember that, in 2023, he got all torn up by injuries because Ali was using him very aggressively, going more than one inning, things like that, doing it a lot. They came up with a plan to limit it and reduce the risk of injury by making sure you limit him to one inning. And I think it worked. I don't know. Call me crazy. I'm pretty sure it worked. Okay. He set a club record for saves. He saved more games than any reliever in baseball. The Cardinals were 49-1 last year after they had a lead through 8 innings because he was available for all those save opportunities, right? And so they went with that formula because it worked last year. It worked beautifully. Now, do you really want to push Helsley on April the 9th? Do you really want to push him on April the 9th? Especially when he's not that far removed from a 37-pitch outing.
No.
I wouldn't.
No, of course not.
But then again, I don't have an agenda to blast the manager for everything he does.
Well, two things you just really brought up that got my brain going. One is that we do not know, and we never will know, everything that goes on in the clubhouse. And I got to tell you, unless you are in that clubhouse, you do not know. Bernie and I don't know. John Rooney doesn't know. Ricky Horton doesn't know. And they would tell you that. Everything that's kept in the clubhouse, especially when it comes to players physically, is kept in that clubhouse. Why is that? Because they don't make public what's going on with somebody. So not to allow the opposition to know and be prepared ahead of time. So that's a thing. In the NFL, there's an injury report. That's why do you think in the NHL they say upper body, lower body? They don't let you know that the guy's knee is busted so you don't run into his knee. Or you can prepare for his ability to skate a certain direction or how he plays. Same thing in baseball. Here's the other thing. You use the word exertion. The game is different today where Bob Gibson or, whoever it is, Bert Blyleven, I don't know, going into the 80s even in the early 90s, where pitchers went 8 or 9 innings, John Tudor, Dwight Gooden, they did not go all out the entire time like these pitchers do now, knowing that they only need to go 6. I mean, so Fetty, to your point, the exertion level's different. I'm not saying that he's any different. I mean, Bob Gibson is the greatest pitcher of all time. I'm just saying the greatest right-handed Cardinal of all time. But I'm saying in pitchers today, as opposed to the past, they're not prepared to go 9. There's no way that Eric Fetty took the ball and said, all right, I'm going 9 today. He's going 6. So just keeping that in mind, pitch count, it's a little bit different than it used to be.
It's the stress level that goes into the pitches. Duncan and I would talk about this all the time, and he just said, you can have a guy throw 110 pitches in a start, 115 pitches, 120 pitches in a start. And, you stay with it. And then another guy, you pull after 85 pitches, and people are going to go, well, what's the difference? Like, why would one guy be limited to 85, 90 pitches and another guy go 115? He said, because it's the degree of difficulty. He said, when a pitcher's really rolling and there's not a lot of turbulence along the way, where he doesn't have to max out a lot. He's throwing a lot of pitches, max out intensity, pitch after pitch after pitch. He's not going to be able to go 110 or 15 pitches. He's just going to stall out. But a guy that's rolling along and he doesn't have that turbulence and everything's kind of happening, falling into place, and the innings are relatively easy. Well, he can go 120, 125 pitches because the stress level is a lot different. It's a lot lighter than a guy who's basically fighting the entire time he's out there on the mound just to make sure, the sky doesn't fall in and he's pitching his heart out. Well, that's how guys get in this era. That's the fastest way guys get tired, and I don't really think it's all that difficult to understand,
Yeah. No.
Guys are going to run out of gas at different times. And a lot of it is based on how hard they've been working on the mound. to try to avoid trouble and really having to fight through innings. Sorry.
No, definitely. And let me tell you again, folks, for the 5th time on this show, he walked 4 leadoff guys. That is playing with fire. I like Eric Fetty. I'm glad he did what he did, but he got away with it. I mean, he's great, but he got away with it without question. You're just asking for trouble. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Cardinals needed a hit. That's the reason they lost. Bernie Miklas, Tom Ackerman. It's the Gashouse Gang on KMOX, and we'll be back right after this.
Charlie Brennan alongside once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. What do people look for in a hearing aid?
People want a hearing aid that will help them to hear their family at dinner, their grandchildren, or help them hear their friends at their weekly breakfast get-togethers. Expectations have always been high with hearing aids, and the hearing aids are always improving. The latest technology has great ease of use, Bluetooth capabilities, and better understanding in the speech and noisy places. We're hosting our spring sale event April 21st and 22nd this year. It's an event where you can listen to the hearing aids for yourself. For 2 days only, we're offering $700 off a set of the latest hearing aid technology, free earwax removal, free hearing screenings, and free hearing aid cleanings. We're so confident that you're going to love this new hearing aid that we're giving away free trial periods.
Thanks, Dr. Bosler. Again, the spring sales event, April 21st and 22nd. To learn more, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
At California Psychics, we know that when you haven't found love, it feels like everyone else has. Every movie has a love interest. Every song is a love song. Where are all the songs about cats? Well, the joy of early bedtime. And of course, the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to help you find the one. We connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you could be feeling all lovey-dovey real soon. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
This May, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC plays for this historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcity.com/Open Cup.
Anderson is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Find out why Renewal by Anderson has the most 5-star reviews in St. Louis at rbastl.com or call 314-332-1957. rbastl.com.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education, but that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
We'll get back to Bernie Miklas in just a moment on the Gashouse Gang. I'm Tom Ackerman. Just a quick look at our weather right now. We've had some rain coming through the city. The good news is it should all be out of here by 1 o'clock. You're getting some thunderstorms, though, down in Festus right now along 55. Festus, DeSoto, St. Genevieve, Chester, Illinois. Going to get some heavy rain here through the next hour or so. then everything should get through. We're going to have a high of 70 today. A little bit of rain tomorrow, but sunny and cool with a high of 58. Currently in downtown St. Louis, we have some rain, clouds, 65 degrees at the Arch.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
The beginning of the new season is a perfect time for a tune-up from my friends at Renner Garage Door. Need a new door? Get a free replacement quote today. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER. Tomorrow, the Cards, the Phillies.
Cameron Total Access 620.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
The Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. With Bernie Miklas, I'm Tom Ackerman. Mike Salyer says, too bad Wheels is not on the show. Said he was a very vocal critic of pulling Fetty after the 6th, not as a cause of loss, but rather we need more innings from starters. Your thoughts on that, Bernie Miklas?
Well, as a general principle, yes. But, I mean, does that apply to every situation? I'd find it hard to believe Kevin Wheeler would say yes to that. Of course they need more starters, more innings from starters. But yesterday, specifically, when he's at his pitch limit already, and, you know, he had five of the 6 guys that let off the inning get on base, so he's sort of working through trouble. And he was pretty much spent from what I'm told. You know, he was asked and he said, you know, I think I've had enough. But once again, I'd say this to my dear friend Wheels or anybody else. What the heck does him pulling Fetty after 6 innings have to do with a team that scored 1 run in 13 innings, that got 3 people thrown out on the bases, and then went 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position? What in God's name does pulling Fetty after 6 innings have anything to do with the real reason why they lost the game? The only reason why they lost the game.
It's pretty wild to me. We're getting a little mixed in this no-hitter versus winning the game versus reality versus baseball knowledge. It's so misplaced. Look, and I love Wheels too. And Wheels, I'm sure, has great reasons for what and how he would articulate that. We're going to go to our guest line, however, at the moment. And here's somebody who would finish games, I assure you of that. And that is former Cardinals closer Jason Motte joining us on KMOX. Motter, it is always great to have you back on the air. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, but just for the record, I would not want to be starting a game and then trying to finish a game. I think my arm would fall off. So I just want to let the record show that I could come in every now and then and get a couple outs at the end of a game. But yeah, I don't think I could do what those starters did. And yeah, if I threw 30 pitches in a day, I was like, I think my arm's gonna fall off. So.
Yeah, well, you went from catcher to reliever. Tell me first, before we get into your great history with the club, about that transition.
Yeah, I mean, the farther I get away from it, the more I look back, and you know, it was pretty simple. You know, I hit about $180 in the minor leagues, and you know, the Cardinals pretty much came to me and said, you can try to pitch or you can go home. And I was like, seems like a pretty easy answer here. I think I'll give it a whirl. You know, so I went out there, and you know, along the way I had some really, really great coaches, great teammates that I learned a lot from. So I got a chance to go out there and play alongside some really great players that helped, and like I said, some great coaches that steered me in some right directions and helped me go out there and be the best that I could be. So it was a blessing in disguise. So you know, the catching part got me there, got me drafted, but you know, my arm and the people that helped me along the way allowed me to do some other pretty cool things in baseball.
Yes, yes, you did. Jason Motte is with us. Say hello to Bernie Miklas, who also covered you through that amazing run.
Hello, Bernie. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on? I tell you what, man. He was a great Cardinal and a great story. And I remember, you know, in 2011, Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan, they weren't sure what to do about a closer, and they tried a few guys and it wasn't working. So they gave Jason Motte the chance, and they stuck with him. And as they say in cliche land, the rest was history. And I want to go back to that point where you could tell they were going to invest in you as a high leverage guy and more tough spots, closing out games. Did you feel at the time, how confident were you at the time that you could handle that and do a good job?
Very confident, if that's the right word to use. I try not to look at any situation any differently than the next situation. And I thought we'll probably get into this later on, but I coach high school baseball down here in Memphis, and I tell our boys all the time, I'm like, the score doesn't matter, who's up doesn't matter, what inning it is doesn't matter. Nothing changes for what your job is out there, whether it's at the plate or on the mound or in the field. So for me, my job didn't change whether I was coming in the sixth inning to get, a couple outs with second and third, or to close out a ball game in a one-run game. I really didn't try to make it, I guess, bigger or more than it was. Then, like I said, at the end of the day, I had a job to do, and I just went out there and tried to get 3 outs before they scored any runs. And like I said, it didn't matter to me whether it was the 9th inning and I was getting a save, or if it was the 6th inning and we're losing by 17 runs. Every time I went out there, I didn't want to give up a run. That's the same thing that all these pitchers are doing, right? They're not going out there like, hey, you know what? We have a 3-run lead. I can let up 2 today. They don't want to let up any, and so like I said, for me, my mindset didn't change from whether I was throwing whichever inning, go out there, make a pitch, try to get him out. And then, if that guy did something, well, the next guy's going to get in there. If I get a chance to pitch against him, I'm going to go out there and do my best to get him out. So I tried to keep it as simple as possible. And that's kind of the way I went out there and try to go about it. So.
Jason Motte is with us. The great Jason Motte is also the coach of CBC High School in Memphis. I believe that is Tim McCarver's alma mater, is it not?
That is, yes, sir. And I don't know about the great Jason Motte. I don't know. You may have, you said that. I kind of cringed over here on the phone. Like, I don't like it. No, but yes, sir. Tim McCarver went here a couple years ago. Went here was a great baseball player in this area, Memphis area, but also obviously in St. Louis, and all the great things he did up there. So I know he's one like many of the legends that we've had come through St. Louis has been severely missed.
And you're bringing the boys up here for the game Saturday?
I am, yes, sir. So we're actually we're leaving. We're going to come up there tomorrow. We're playing CBC, St. Louis, and Parkway South tomorrow. Playing 2 games up there, and then we're bringing the boys to the game on Saturday. So have a little getaway where we get to play a little baseball, but also we get to come up there and watch a little bit of baseball. So we've been up there. We came up there a couple years ago, and the Cardinals were out of town, and I remember the boys being like, "Oh man, if they were just in town," I was like, "I know, we'd have tried to figure something out." So this time it kind of worked with our schedule, with CBC schedule and Parkway South schedule, that we could come up there on this weekend. And, the Cardinals were nice enough to play a home game, this weekend to work with us as well. So I'm sure that was high on their priority list, to make sure that we got to bring some boys to the game. But, we get a chance to bring them out to the game, have a cool experience, but also play a little baseball while we're up there, and make a little weekend out of it. So it'll be a great time.
Jason, Bernie again. I want to ask you this. It's when athletes have a career and they at the highest level, and you closed out a World Series championship, and that's a pretty high level. Sometimes it's really tough to kind of turn off that competitiveness when the career's over because of injuries or whatever. It's kind of hard to transition in a way to that competitive fire that is still in an athlete who has really done well, especially at a high level. So I wanted to ask you: has coaching been a great thing for you to get involved in terms of the competitor in Jason Motte, but also the teacher and the guy that was always a great team player in St. Louis? Is coaching a good outlet for the things that you still want to do and the things that you can offer?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I don't think a lot of people honestly talk about that, right? Like it's one of those things. I mean, guys that play in the big leagues and guys that play in any professional sport do whatever like that. I mean, we've done it since we were 5 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old, and it's for a lot of us, what we've done our entire life. So when that time does come, and the time comes for everyone, right, that you're no longer playing baseball, it's what do you do next, or how do you, go about that? But it's one of those things that I don't think is really talked about a lot. And I know that some people have easier times with it than other people. It's like, hey, what do I do with my time? What do I do with my energy, and stuff like that. I know for me, from a competitive standpoint, I don't know. I mean, I've kind of, I don't even know. I don't really have the desire, I guess, to go out there and compete anymore. I always tell people like that. I've been asked like, hey man, we got this men's league. I'm like, I'm good. I'm like, I'm good. Nope, no, thank you. I was like, I would love to get out there, but I was like, I think when you and we, do this at such a high level, we have a lot of people have a different gear. I mean, I feel like I'm a decently easygoing person, but if you saw me on the mound, you saw me on the field, you'd be like, this man is an absolute psycho. Right. And like, it was kind of like that switch I would flip when I got out there. Like, hey, I had to think this way. I had to lock in like this to go out there and do what I did. And, so for me, I think the people that were around me that saw me turn into maybe that crazy person, were like-minded people. And I don't know if, someone else, maybe like, this guy actually is a psycho, so I kind of don't really want to go out and compete like that. But from a coaching standpoint, I don't feel like it's a way for me to get that competition part out of me, because I don't feel like I'm competing, but I do feel like I am given this chance to go out there and help our boys to go out there and be the best that they can. And that's one of the things why I coach high school baseball, why I've wanted to do it since I was in high school, honestly, was because of how great my high school coaches were. I went to high school in New York, and, two of my coaches up there were just awesome. The way they taught me things about baseball, but also about life, and stuff like that, because like I said, at the end of the day, it will be done. Whether your last day is in high school, college, minor leagues, or like that, you never know when it is, but it's how you go out there and handle yourself, how you give it your all, what you do, and then what you do next, right? And that's kind of in baseball. You have a bad day, well, you can't really give up. You got to go out there and see what you can do next. What's that next at bat? What's that next pitch look like? So for me, just being able to go out there and watch the young men that we coach succeed. Yes, on the baseball field, but in life, I think if you look statistically, they'll be a professional in 98%, something other than baseball. They could be on the radio, they could be writing columns about people, they could be doctors, they could be whatever. So it's things in baseball that you can learn that can kind of help you in maybe some of those other things, but also make you still love baseball at the end of the day, which is what my high school coaches did and what I try to do with these young men. Like I said, make them the best they can be, but also I enjoy it. I enjoy going out there, being around them, being able to coach, help, give back the way that so many people give back to me in my career. So to be able to go out and help other people, which is, at the end of the day, I think what is a big part of in giving this platform or anything, is go out there and be able to help others. That's whether it's through our foundation stuff or baseball or this and that, but being able to help out is pretty cool. So it's good to see those kids go out there and succeed. So.
Well, you are definitely doing that. And I can't have you on without asking you about your foundation, your K Cancer Foundation. It is my honor to be able to be part of the Cornhole Challenge with you every year. You bring it into St. Louis at Anheuser-Busch, and we have a really good time, you and your wife, Caitlin, and that place is packed with passionate people there to help you out.
Yeah, no, it is. You know, I mean, we have a ton of people that volunteer that come out there. The people that show up to participate in the event is awesome. It's been, you know, sold out for, good Lord, I don't know, 10 years now up there in St. Louis. We actually recently had our one in Memphis a couple weeks ago, and the thing that's cool about the one here, we do it here at Christian Brothers High School where I coach, but our boys, our baseball players, volunteer to be the scorekeepers and stuff like that, so they get to kind of see a little more. You know, there's some stuff other than baseball, right? It's being able to give back to help some people who are going through a tough time, and cancer affects so many people in life, right? Like, you know, I at this point, maybe it's because of what we do, but you know, you almost can't find someone that hasn't been somehow affected by it or know someone that's been going through it. So to have our boys come out and kind of see what it is we do from a foundation standpoint. And yes, like I said, baseball is baseball, but at the end of the day, being able to help others, help people going through this tough time, let them know that they're not doing it alone. And that people care, but also them taking their time, to volunteer to come out and keep, you know, a simple thing is keeping score, right? We've had people thanking them for being out there, and they're like, I'm not doing anything. It's like, but you are, like, just taking your time to be out there to help out, when you could be like, yeah, I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna go do something else, high school kid related, you know. Yeah. But you know, to go out there and want to give back, I mean, that's a big part of the stallion mission of Christian Brothers and our school, but also, like I said, with kind of the way I feel about going about things, and really showing these boys that yes, it's about this and this for yourself, but it's about helping others and what you can do to help others on a daily basis. So it's cool to see them out there see what we do. Pretty cool. And then some of them, you can see their eyes kind of opening. I'm like, oh man, like I talked to this person, he's going through this, and I had no idea. And it's, you know, and it's pretty crazy when, like I said, those light bulb moments go off in their head and you see it and you're like, that's pretty cool. That's what it's about, knowing that, oh man, I am helping people, or, you know, me doing this helped me get better in this facet of life or baseball or whatever like that. It's a cool thing to be a part of.
You're growing the game. I mean, you're growing the game. Motte, we're out of time, but I just really, really appreciate you being with us. Best of luck this weekend. I hope fans come and see you, find you at the ballpark as you have your ball club here at Busch Stadium. And thank you. Good luck with everything with your K Cancer Foundation and everything you're doing with CBC.
Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate you all for having me on. You have a great day. Thank you.
Great to have Jason Motte. Yeah, I will say it. Great St. Louis Cardinal. I mean, there's one right there. Bernie Miklas, before we take a break, tell us about our great sponsor, Saliga Heating and Cooling.
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Tom Ackerman. Appreciate that. You know, Saliga Heating and Cooling is an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, and they have been helping generations of St. Louis families since 1927. The Saligas, the fourth-generation owner-operators, Dan Saliga, doing a great job. And Saliga is still as great as it ever was, and it's been great since the beginning. Or they wouldn't be around unless they were great at what they do. You know, I mean, you opened in 1927. It's now 2025. You're going up on 100 years soon. How great do you have to be to not only last that long, but still have people reaching out to you, you know, and wanting you to help them? Because the word people know in St. Louis that this is a family business. They put everything on the line because their reputation means everything. The family name means everything. The reputation itself means everything. So, you know, Dan Saliga runs this thing with the highest possible standards. And we've been a family with Colin Saliga for 16 years now, and I can attest to just how honest they are and how professional and how knowledgeable. They don't try to talk you into stuff. They don't try to hustle you. They don't try to upsell. They're prompt. They're courteous, and they just know what they're doing, and they're going to treat you extraordinarily well. So they have my highest recommendation. As I say that as someone that's been dealing with Saliga for a long, long time, long before I got on the radio, for example. They also have one more thing, the Priority Club. It is a preventative maintenance program. It works very, very well to extend the life of your equipment, but also give you the peace of mind and knowing after those maintenance checks a couple times a year, everything's in great shape, and they can catch a real little problem before it becomes a big one. So they do all the work you would hope, all the work you would expect, residential, commercial, all of it's there. What I would like to do, though, is just to tell you, go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com to see all the list of services plus more info on that priority club. Financing options are available, subject to credit approval. But I am honored to speak on behalf of Saliga Heating and Cooling.
The easiest way to park on game day is to park with iParkit. iParkit has the best game day parking garages in St. Louis. iParkit has 2 convenient garages on Clark Avenue, located right next door on either side of the ballpark. The iParkit game day garages have multiple entry and exits to accommodate all fans, no matter where you're coming from or headed to after the game. Download the iParkit app and drive in and out using only your license plate. Use iParkit for convenience and peace of mind on game day.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Tom Ackerman here. Busey Bank proudly recognizes the Glen Ed Pantry as a building community partner for the services and food they provide to more than 250 families in the Edwardsville School District each month. Food insecurity severely impacts every part of a family's life. More than 600 volunteers and donors make it possible for the pantry to fulfill their mission to provide food and services with dignity and respect. Learn more at glenedpantry.org. That's glenedpantry.org.
This is Rob Schwartz, Senior Vice President of Busey Bank. The Glen Ed Pantry, our community promise partner, is building a brighter future, a new home for Glen Ed Pantry built by the community for generations to come. The need is growing, and your help is vital to make this vision a reality. Learn all about the campaign at glenedpantry.org. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Make reservations for the 2025 Women of Achievement Luncheon, presented by KMOX. This award luncheon takes place Tuesday, May 13th at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis, and celebrates 10 outstanding volunteers from across the St. Louis metropolitan region. Doors open at 11:15. The luncheon runs until 1:30. Reservations are $60 per person. Sign up and find more details now at KMOX.com/events.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad.
Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This May, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is coming back to St. Louis. Join us at Energizer Park for the round of 32 as St. Louis City SC plays for this historic trophy. Get tickets now at stlcity.com/Open Cup.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050, and have a Banner day.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Bernie, we talked so much, but we had to pay the bills there. I mean, what are you going to do?
That's right. It was good to visit with Jason Motte. What a terrific guy he is.
He really
and
is.
What a wonderful post-baseball career he's had. Very fulfilled man, does a lot of great for his community and charitable causes. Really admire him a lot.
You can go back in the show and listen to our thoughts on the extra inning loss to the Pirates as well, and some really thought-provoking things I thought from Jason on life after being a high-level athlete. For Bernie Miklas and our producer, Matt Pajeski, I'm Tom Ackerman. Thank you for joining us on the Gashouse Gang, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling.
Spring is here. Your valuable
I'm John
trees
Morgan
inspected by Gamma Tree to enhance the beauty.
America's largest injury law firm. For your case, there's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting